Hi, I'm Spence Petros, Managing Editor of Fishing Facts Magazine. In the next couple of minutes, we'll show you how to rig the Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger on your boat, help you get set up, and then show you how easy it is to catch fish with the controlled depth method that the Little Guy gives you. You'll hear from people I fish with who, along with myself, use the Little Guy to help dig out fish when they're suspended in deeper water and the going is tough. The next few minutes of information is going to help you become a better angler, so let's open up that package and get going.
Hi, I'm Mike Jackson, Mike Jackson Outdoors, a part of the Willie Products test staff. Thanks for buying the Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger. You'll quickly learn the Little Guy is the way to go for catching suspended fish, in particular walleyes, especially under tough conditions. You'll want to pay close attention to the information coming up in the next couple of minutes. It'll help you become a better fisherman using the Willie Little Guy Downrigger. In fact, I'm sure you'll watch this videotape a number of times because there's lots of useful information on it. When you're done with the tape, even after you've made a copy, I'd like you to please return it to Willie Products. We're offering some very special incentives for you on other products. And in order to keep our product and production costs at a minimum, we'd like to get the original tape back. I'll be back later and explain what we're offering you. Again, thanks for buying the Willie Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger.
I'm Mark Willie. We're going to explore the fantastic opportunity that this Little Guy Downrigger from Willie presents to your fishing repertoire. It's controlled depth fishing, and it's a method that's sweeping the country today.
You know, the most important aspect of successful downrigger fishing is the actual mounting position on your boat. Successful downrigger fishing requires that you are constantly monitoring the rod and lure, such as changing the baits, changing the depths, continuing to check for weeds or small fish. Now, if the downrigger is not mounted in that convenient position, you're going to be reluctant to do that. Probably the most popular method of mounting the downrigger is on the stern plate. Very simply, we drill and position the clutch mounting bracket straight off to the side or at an angle off the stern. Never mount your downrigger directly off the stern, where the propeller could become entangled in the cable. This obviously could cause some significant problems. Another very popular method of mounting is the side gunnel mount. Now, you simply remove the boom from your Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger and you're ready to clamp that unit right to the gunnel. Now, a mounting board can also be used when you don't want to drill holes into the stern plate or into the gunnel. This is a system where we actually use a 2x6 plank, which expands the width of the gunnel. We then secure our downrigger to the side of the boat on the mounting board. You know, this also gives us the opportunity to mount accessory rod holders or running 2 or 3 lines off this particular mounting board. The downrigger is a complete unit. It comes with a rod holder, a counter, cable, the release, and a 3-pound weight. Now, 3 pounds will give you the ability to fish up to approximately 50 feet down. Again, if you need to fish deeper than that, feel free to go to an 8-pound weight to get that lure down to, say, 100 feet. The Willie Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger is equipped with a rod holder and is capable of taking a spinning or casting rod. By removing the black inserts, it gives you the ability to use either style of fishing rod. Now, the Little Guy Downrigger is also equipped with a readout counter. It'll give you readings of depth and feet. It's very important that when you hit a fish, that you return the lure to the exact same position. The Little Guy Downrigger is guaranteed for life. Should you have any problems, please feel free to return it to the factory or call us for service.
Let's just take a brief moment and go through a dry land 1, 2, 3 basic step of downriggering. I think it's going to give you a very quick understanding of what's going to happen when the fish actually hits. First of all, we have to rig the lure. One of my favorites is a shadling by Lindy Tackle. It's an excellent lure for walleye, bass, northerns. Excellent in the smaller lakes. We'll let this lure out behind the boat, maybe 60 or 70 feet. Now remember, that lure may dig down 3 or 4 feet below its actual position. Once we're out into position, we take the line and rig it into this adjustable line release. By merely turning this white screw in and out changes our tension. We shove the line in, tighten up our rod, and we're rigged. Once we determine what depth we want to go, we'll loosen our drag a little bit and lower the weight. Now let's say we want to fish 10 feet. We'll lower the weight till it says 10 feet. We're trolling along. Is what's going to happen now when a fish strikes, you're going to see your rod tip pulsate a little bit. And what will happen is a line will actually pull out of this release. So what happens on a strike? The weight is actually jettisoned from the fishing line. You pick the rod and reel up and land your fish. Now generally keep the boat in motion because that keeps the fish out behind the boat and he doesn't become tangled in this cable that's still hanging down there. Once you've landed the fish, return the weight to the surface, remember what the counter says, and re-rig because you're in the fish zone. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Here's another little problem solver from Willie. This is our tickle rod downrigger weight system. It's an adjustable weight system so that you can adjust the downrigger weight from 3 up to 12 pounds. This may be important in certain fishing conditions. Once we put the wafers on, we lock the weights on the rod with this lock ring. But that's just the first of it. This also acts as a bottom teaser or tickle rod. If you're fishing in tight structure, such as rocks or craggy bottom, and you come across structure with your downrigger weight, many times the standard downrigger weight will hang up and actually break off your cable. This unit, the tickle rod, actually will bounce up over that particular structure and give you a nice smooth flow with no danger of hanging up. This particular product is used in especially rocky areas, areas with a lot of structure, or for those fishermen who need to fish very close to the bottom.
For those of you who use electronic sonar and don't want to drill any holes to mount your transducers, Willie has come up with a portable transducer mounter. Now it fits into any standard size drain plug, and believe me, it locks in tight, and the drain plug is still functional. You can mount 2 transducers and a speedometer sensor. If you want a permanent mount, Willie has that one too. It has the same features of the portable model, and it only takes 2 screws to mount it in place, and you're all set. Where to mount the sonar unit? That can be a problem at times for many of us. The Willie Swivel Perch sonar holder allows you to mount your unit on a gunnel and swivel it 180 degrees. It just clamps on tight and it stays put. It also mounts on the console or side of the console. Whatever way you choose, you can't go wrong with the Willie Swivel Perch. And all Willie products are guaranteed for a lifetime. Let's head for the water with Mark Willie and Larry Presnell and catch a fish.
Figuring about 6 feet down, and I'm figuring a 4-foot drop on the lure behind the downrigger. I think that'll put us.
You're running a shadling?
Beg your pardon?
You're running a shadling?
Yeah, it's a shadling shallow diver, so we've got a little wider range.
Okay, so the lure will be running down below the ball. As far as how much rod bend will you put in there? What?
Well, just enough flex to where you've got tension on the line, and with that type of a release where you've got a knee action on it, we can see the action of the bait actually, and if we get a hit on it, you'll actually see a movement on the rod tip, and you can go back and set the hook or get involved with that play right away. Okay, so the alligator clipper release that comes with this unit will give you that rod tip action. Right. Okay, so you can actually see your lure working. Willie products cover the whole program. Great. Yeah, I think that's going to be about right. What trolling speed do you think we're about 1.4, 1.5? Yeah, we're going about 1.5 to 2 miles an hour in that range, and what we'll do is keep zigzagging our course and varying our speed until we develop some sort of a pattern. Sure. Well, there's a nice break right in this area here, so we can actually set some marker buoys out and develop a pattern of the contour and the shoreline or the break line. Okay. And troll right with it. Nice thing about downrigger fishing, you don't need that heavy equipment, do you? No, a light line. These releases work very well for that because they'll take a heavy line, they'll take a light line. They're totally adjustable. Yeah. So you've got the adjustment to the tension you need. You've got the tip action on the rod. Total program. Terrific. That's one of the nice parts about trolling. Once you get the rig set, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy life. And just watch for the fish to hit. The nice thing I liked about trolling in Lake Michigan for salmon, you could cover an awful lot of water in a very short period of time. It's a good way to learn a body of water or a port or whichever in a quick hurry. It's
for lakes that aren't familiar to the average fisherman, you know, you get your downriggers down and you troll and you watch your sonar, you can scope a lake very fast and get that idea of, you know, exactly what the bottom holds and marking fish and so forth. And I like your idea of throwing a marker over. That's something we really didn't do in Lake Michigan. Of course, we had so much depth, we didn't have to worry about hanging up and so forth and different bottom structure.
Sure, most of the fishing out there on Lake Michigan, you throw a marker buoy out and you'd be bombarded
by other boats, yeah. Well, this morning we don't have to worry. We sure got a gorgeous morning, and I think we're the only boat on the doggone lake.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like we use a 10, 12-pound weight sometimes out on Lake Michigan or for Great Lakes fishing. Here with the lighter weight, I'm not sure exactly what that is. It looks like about 3 or 4
Yeah,
pounds.
that's a 3-pound weight that we include with it, and for most small water fishing, we're talking, you know, under 50 foot of depth, and 3 pounds at a slow speed will get you down to 40, 50 feet. Put an 8-pound weight on that so you can get down that 100 feet, say you're in Canada fishing lake trout very deep or something like that.
Adds to your versatility then.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's terrific that way. Larry, do these walleyes hit hard, or is it like a salmon
Well, you know, when you're fishing with like a Lindy rig or the minnow and you're just jigging the bottom, they can be just the lightest touch. But with trolling speed, like we're doing, they grab that bait, they're hooked right away, and
they really hammer they'll hammer the rod and bend the rod down. So it's important to keep an eye on the rod, as we do in Lake Michigan and so forth for these walleyes, because you want to get to it quick.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're gonna mouth that bait, and I've found, well, number one, if you see the hit, even though you missed the fish, you got information. You knew a color, you knew a size, a speed.
Yeah, excellent point.
But the quicker you get to the rod, get it in your hand, and get that tension on the fish, the more success you're going to have. So I always like to face the rigs.
Okay,
back
keep an eye on. I noticed that. Oh, wait, fish on! You got him?
Yeah, it's there.
Nice one?
Beauty, real respectable.
Now, should we keep the boat going forward, like in Lake Michigan, as we're landing them?
If we had the other rigs out, that'd be fine. I think right now we're pretty clean. And
okay.
I always like to have the fun of fighting that fish when without any trolling speed on if I can.
You ready to come up?
Yeah, here he comes. Go ahead. Good.
Nice fish.
Yeah, I see the. Good.
Nice fish.
Yeah, I see the chrome.
That's shadling.
Yeah, chrome shadling. Earlier we.
That's a nice fish. He'll go a couple pounds, huh?
Oh yeah, he's going to look even better in a frying pan a little later on here.
Well, you know, in northern Wisconsin, that's a nice walleye.
This guy's got
maybe they get bigger here in Minnesota.
Bony mouths here.
Yeah, he took that hook good, didn't he?
Yeah.
Nice fish. Put him in the live well?
Yeah, let's go in there.
Great. Okay, now you want to run that lure, what, 30, 40 feet behind the ball?
I think that's reasonable for inland waters here for walleye.
Okay. So is what the fisherman wants to do is let the lure off the back of the boat,
correct,
and then hook it to release.
And
okay.
That distance sets the distance behind the down.
Behind the weight. Okay, now if you're fishing walleye, would you want to let that out further than, say, we did in salmon in Lake Michigan?
Well, I think that depends on the day. Like what we're seeing here, we've just had a cloud bank move through. We're in high pressure, wind change. I think the fish are going to start to be a little more sensitive the rest of the day.
Okay.
And I generally have found when that happens, longer lead length, slower speed, smaller baits.
Okay.
Just picturing the mood of the fish as being a little soft or not so aggressive, everything mild. In fact, you can even get so technical as to get less contrast in the color on the baits.
Okay.
Real subtle things.
So really is what you're saying, Larry, is that the fisherman, when he's trolling, should continue to experiment with speed, lure color, depth of lure, and those type of things until he develops a pattern.
And that's one of the advantages with downrigger fishing, where you can have, well, if you have 3 or 4 guys in the boat, you got 3 or 4 rigs set, you can run different baits at different depths, at different lead lengths, and again, focus in on what the fish want at that particular time very quickly. When you have one rod in your hand and you're fishing, you're constantly retying baits. If you wanted to go through that same process, you're covering a lot less water, so you have to rely on a extremely good knowledge of where you're fishing. You know the fish are there when you have this one rod. Where with trolling, we can go find the fish. I can go to a strange lake and in just a short amount of time
cover the water.
A lot of structure.
Okay, the other thing with controlled depth fishing or downrigger fishing, you know, a lot of fishermen have sonars on their boat today. They see fish someplace between the surface and the bottom. A downrigger is a natural way to put a lure right on those fish.
Sure.
Now, if we see fish on the scope, would we want to run the lure above, at the level of the fish, or below the fish? What do you think?
I've always found on the Great Lakes the fish come up to feed.
Okay.
And anywhere from right at the level of the fish to 10 feet above the fish seems to be prime.
So fish will feed in an upward motion versus going down for a lure.
They see up, they don't see down.
Okay, so for the fisherman just starting to use downriggers, he's seeing fish on his sonar, he'd want to be a foot or two above that fish and keep experimenting with that depth until he can trigger him to fish on. Yeah, it's a good fish. It's a good fish.
Respectable there on the rod. How deep did he come?
Came 12 feet down.
12 feet.
Shadling, silver shadling. Well, I'll tell you, he's scrappy. Look at that sucker.
Oh yeah, there he comes.
Ooh, nice fish.
There we go. Ooh, just.
Oh, isn't that terrific?
Hi everybody, I'm Babe Winkleman. You know, when the fish get spooky, there's really only one surefire way to get your bait into the strike zone. Willie Sea-Ski planer boards. Hey, they're fantastic. You can sneak right up on those spooky fish, cover a lot of water, run multiple lines. They're great. And the Willie Sea-Ski is built to last. It even comes with a lifetime guarantee. Hey, let me tell you, when my reputation's on the line, my Willie Sea-Ski's on the side.
Hi, I'm Ron Linder, publisher of the In-Fisherman magazine. You know, when I'm out filming, I'm constantly changing lakes, locations, techniques, and of course, lures. Ever have one of these? I know I have. You know, I don't have the time to clean up a mess like that. My answer, the Willie bait file, my tackle storage system. Talk about versatility and convenience, the Willie bait file got it all. You want to store big lures. You want to store little lures. You want to store odd-size lures. The special spring system fits all sizes. The system is modular. Quick as a wink, you can add or subtract pages. The Willie bait file tackle storage system. Yeah, it's my problem solver. It can be yours too.
Lots of great information on how to rig and use the Willie Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger. Now I have quite an offer for you. As I said earlier, Willie Products would like to get this tape back from you. Now believe me, it's all right if you want to make a copy of it so you can file it away in your video library. All you have to do is place the mailing label on the box and mail it back, and that's it. But here's what we'll do for you. You'll be able to get the famous Willie t-shirt, a $9.95 value, absolutely free, plus some Willie Bucks coupons allowing 10% discounts on other Willie merchandise, and a special discount offer on the In-Fisherman magazine. So please watch this for a moment.
Let's face it, except for more time on the water, what can improve your fishing success? Now you can catch more tackle-busting fish like these. And you'll be a more successful fisherman with the In-Fisherman. It's more than a magazine. It's a teaching course that comes to your home packed with the scientific know-how, the charts, graphs, maps, and photographs, and the experience of the world's best anglers. The In-Fisherman is so good, it guarantees you'll catch more and bigger fish or your money back. From panfish to trout, lunker, bass to walleyes, in rivers or lakes, the In-Fisherman will show you how, when, and where to catch fish. It's guaranteed.
All you have to do is fill out the ordering card for your t-shirt with size, name, address, etc. and enclose $5 check or money order for shipping and handling. This is a limited offer, so please act within 30 days and we'll send you the premium items as soon as possible. I'm Mike Jackson from Mike Jackson Outdoors, part of Team Willie, and thanks for buying the Willie Little Guy Deluxe Downrigger.